Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. Well, the new MAGA Republican House caucus certainly has their priorities in order. They are preparing for their big first high-stakes vote since the election for Speaker, which will be an attempt to kick Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar off of the Foreign Affairs Committee. They continue to plot their strategy around refusing to raise the debt ceiling, essentially taking the United States economy hostage, although they still cannot seem to name their ransom. They seem to just want to bring utter destruction. And Republicans are moving ahead with another key move they have been eagerly awaiting since they won back the majority, forming new special committees on some of their favorite pet topics. For example, a new subcommittee will investigate the origins of the COVID pandemic and how the government handled it. That panel will include QAnon conspiracy theorist Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. But the one they're really psyched about is the Select Subcommittee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government. It's a mouthful. Basically means they want to get to the bottom of what they see as a sprawling deep state conspiracy against Donald Trump. Trump and his allies still think, or at least they claim to think, who knows, that many arms of the U.S. government, including the Justice Department, the NSA, CIA, FBI, were all weaponized against his 2016 campaign and then against his presidency.
The new House Committee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government is a rare chance to expose the breathtaking corruption of the security state, the media, and the Washington swamp. When the Mueller team was in charge of leaking secret information and fake news stories to dishonest journalists, of which there are many, to perpetrate the Russia hoax, and that's what it was. Turned out it was a total hoax. Who orchestrated the FBI's repeated operations to interfere in domestic politics in the final weeks of multiple U.S. election seasons? And specifically, and most importantly, in the presidential election of 2020.
Trump looking a little like Tom Brady in his last playoff game there. Now, the irony here is that such an investigation has already happened. It has stretched nearly 4 years, even longer than the Mueller investigation itself, at the cost of at least $6.5 million. And that investigation, that 4-year investigation, has come up with nothing, nada, zilch, zero. Of course, I am speaking of the Durham investigation that began early 2019 when Trump Attorney General Bill Barr appointed U.S. Attorney John Durham as special counsel to basically investigate the investigators. Now, Bill Barr proclaimed that this was a very serious prosecutor who was going to conduct a very serious investigation.
We saw two different standards of justice emerge, one that applied to President Trump and his associates, and the other that applied to everybody else. We can't allow this ever to happen again. The Durham investigation is trying to get to the bottom of what happened, and it will determine whether there were any federal laws broken, and if there were, those who broke the laws will be held to account. But this cannot be, and it will not be, a tit-for-tat exercise. We are not going to lower the standards just to achieve a result.
An amazing bit of sound, right? At the beginning, he already tells you the conclusion that there was a double standard, the thing that they're supposed to be investigating. Then it comes around the end to say, well, we're not going to be tit for tat. Now, what the Durham investigation mostly produced was content for Fox News, whose anchors salivated over every detail, convinced that Durham was going to crack the case.
A bombshell new development in the Durham probe.
John Durham dropped his second bombshell in just the last 2 weeks.
The Durham investigation is picking up steam.
Have you heard about this? A court filing reveals Hillary Clinton's campaign, paid to spy on Donald Trump.
Court documents allege the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign tried to gain control to, quote, infiltrate the Trump Tower servers.
He issued subpoenas to one of the most politically connected law firms in the country.
If John Durham gets into this, he is going to track it down.
Special counsel John Durham appears to have the evidence.
Indications are beginning to mount tonight that Durham may have figured this all out. Mark my words, we will get to the bottom of this. John Durham will uncover the truth. We will get the equal justice that we, the American people, deserve.
Don't you worry, viewers. And then, drum roll, nothing. John Durham came up with a whole lot of nothing. He made 2 high-profile prosecutions against a cybersecurity lawyer and a research analyst who worked on the so-called Steele dossier. But guess what? Both cases end in swift, humiliating acquittals. This is really rare. Federal prosecutors don't bring cases they can't win, and this guy got his butt handed to him twice in court. And now, a jaw-dropping report from the New York Times reveals shocking new details about just how bad the Durham investigation was on the inside. They report that Attorney General Barr was unusually involved in the sensitive investigation. Quote, Durham visited Barr in his office for at times weekly updates and consultations about his day-to-day work. They also sometimes dined and sipped scotch together. That's sweet. Acting on Barr's suspicions, Durham spent his first months looking for any evidence the origin of the Russia investigation involved an intelligence operation targeting the Trump campaign. They found no evidence of that, but had not given up. When the DOJ Inspector General completed his report into the matter, contradicting Trump's accusations and the rationale for Durham's inquiry, Durham then lobbied the Inspector General, which is completely inappropriate, to drop some of his findings, but he did not change his mind. Times also details how Durham used suspect Russian intelligence to gain access to emails of an aide to billionaire and regular target of the right-wing George Soros. He then even used a grand jury to try to shake them loose after a judge twice rejected his request. And of course, guess what? They contain nothing. Durham and Barr also tried to get information from foreign governments, traveling abroad together to press British and Italian officials to reveal everything their agencies had gleaned about the Trump campaign. But get this is the best part. The one useful bit they got came from Italian officials who unexpectedly offered a potentially explosive tip linking Trump to certain suspected financial crimes. Barr had Durham investigate the matter himself, giving him criminal prosecution powers for the first time, even though possible wrongdoing by Trump did not fall squarely within his assignment. And then it gets better. Because when that inevitably leaked that Durham was going to be investigating criminal activity, Trump world was overjoyed. They thought he had found evidence of criminals in the deep state, when the person Durham was really criminally investigating was Donald Trump.
The announcement that U.S. Attorney John Durham's investigation is now a criminal probe has made a lot of folks nervous in this town. And they're all the same intel and media collaborators who spread the phony collusion narrative from the start.
This is a formal criminal probe, we're told. And so there are going to be a lot of former Obama officials who are going to be under the microscope.
He is very interested in talking to former Obama intelligence officials John Brennan and James Clapper.
Okay, just to be clear, all of that you saw was 100%, 180 degrees directionally wrong. The only time the Durham investigation moved over into a criminal inquiry was because of a tip about criminal wrongdoing by Donald Trump. And then that got leaked to the public, who knows how. Oh, Durham's looking into criminal activity. And then Fox got a lot of content like that to shove on their viewers, who ate it up. So this is what everyone needs to know as we watch what happens with this new Republican House committee, which is doing the same thing, the investigation into the weaponization of the federal government. It has already been done. It cost $6 million. It went on for 4 years. It failed. But, and then this is the key point, it happened behind closed doors, because what House Republicans really want is for it to play out in public. So they're going to restage this entire failed enterprise using more resources, all in front of the cameras.